Cool. We are going. Yes. Make sure the stream is doing stream. There we go. Turn that down. Post a few links or whatever. Let's see, let's get this back to there. Cool. So you get my phone set back up. There we go. Okay, long leg today because I got home early. So let's see, I wanted to do the 407. Configure. There's my laser pointer. Let's see. Something about that hive is green. There we go. And we are over here in North Bangkok. We ended the last flight there. Robert Harrison, what's going on? Good to see you, Valeska. I'm glad you're here. Let's see, we're going way up here. See, I was going to go here, but this is still in Thailand. So I wanted to come up here to Nai Pao Thao in Myanmar. Let's see. Says arrival. Sick. We're gonna need fuel along the way. This place happens to be along the way. Oh, let's see. Long trip, but has to be done. Flight conditions, everything should be live. This is going to delete all my stuff. Oh, no, it stayed. That's nice. Cool, let's get into it. My water's right here. That's what I want. Okay, what are the chances that this helicopter actually works for me? 407 historically was not good. Get rid of that. I don't think there's any exterior pre-flight stuff on this one. Let's see. Stop spinning. Do you not have a rotor brake? Who left you here? Anyways, Shift C. We'll get in here. We'll get settled in. Okay, this feels right-ish. Fuel valve on. We can close that. Collective down. I'm selected to idle. I don't think that mapping's working for some reason. So let's see. Let's come up here. We need battery on. Shut the horn up. Okay, let's see. All those are doing what they're supposed to do. Strobe lights on. Let's see. Boost on. And nothing else up here needs to be done. Let's see, usually there's a start button on there. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Watching NGs right here. Is it making noises? Yeah. Let's see. Position lights. Pitot heater. Oh no. Is that not a thing? Okay, we're in flight. I have sound now, that's good. About time. Okay, sick. Where's my laser? No. Put it right there where the passenger is not. Actually, I'm gonna do it direct to spot number 1. Just that way we get a mileage and a heading. Direct to 205 miles. Shit, we're gonna do a 400-mile trip today. That's fun. Nope, I do not want to be moving. I'm trying to press a button on my keyboard. Okay, let's see. A lot of people going on over there. Sick, love it. Let's see, let's get a sip of water before we take off. Cyclic centering, that's a fine line to have. Bangkok traffic helicopter, November 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, departing from the northeast ramp direct, departing the area to the northwest. Get ourselves in a stable little hover here. All this Bangkok and no lady boys. Anyways, on we go. 325 heading, so we'll try to keep about that. Becky Daves, hello, welcome to the stream. Looks like Daves. I'm reading it underneath my VR goggles, so it's hard to deduce some things. But welcome. Let's see. Here we go. I like about that level of zoom. Because we gotta settle in. Start picking these ponies up. We're only doing 75 knots. Definitely going to want to be doing every bit of 120 as much as we can. Hey, look, there's an airplane in that parking lot. Wonder what that there's for. Interesting. Sure as shit didn't land there, so they probably brought it there as part of like a museum or something. Okay. Now that we're settled in a bit, we're buzzing these little second world houses and we are on the move. We're letting people know that we are currently flying a helicopter worth more money than them. Although there are some areas of Bangkok that are very well off, so probably not that good. I keep looking over like I'm expecting to see some sort of progress happening. But I literally decided a fucking 400-mile route for today. That's on me. That's my own fault. What I'm doing now, I'm working on managing my torque, which is right here. Can't go over 100, obviously. We can, but that's considered engine damage. No bueno. So I'm slowly adding collective fuel transfer. I'm aware you're going to stay on. I don't care. Because for some reason this helicopter doesn't like it if I turn it off. Also managing my trim, which is this little ball right here. If we're not in trim where it feels like we're flying straight, it shows this here, which means we have a little bit of wind coming from this direction, which means I need to add a little bit of left pedal to center the ball up so you kick the ball. If you have strings on the windshield, you do opposite of the strings, but if you have the ball turn coordinator, it's a kick the ball. So a little bit of left pedal will straighten us up, streamline us, make us do a little better. We're doing 130 knots now, 64% power, pretty good. If anybody in here has any questions, feel free to say so. Really, we're waiting on Tom and Georgia plane spotting to show up. Some of our regulars, Sean may also get in here. This is an earlier stream than normal also, so who knows? Might get a few more viewers than typical. Which, Becky, if you're still in here, I don't remember seeing your name before. Or if you have been, I don't think you've commented. But yeah, Robert Harrison, back to your initial thing. Yeah, all is well. Work is a mixture of slow and busy, as always. So some days I'm really, really busy and doing a whole bunch of stuff, and other days it's a lot of nothing. As in, tomorrow is a lot of nothing, but I think tomorrow is going to end up being a maintenance day on my vehicles, sadly. So my 4Runner needs an oil change, and on the way home I started hearing a noise getting near my neighborhood, slower speeds. It sounded like something in the left rear drum brake was dragging a little bit, so I'm going to need to take that apart and see what it is. I'm hoping it's not a wheel bearing, because I don't have a press, and I really don't want to take an axle out, but if that's what it comes down to, that's what it comes down to. Also need to buy tires for my IS300. It's desperately in need, but that's okay. Hey, look, only 196 nautical miles left. Top left is what I'm looking at right there underneath the search thing. Decent wind coming from that way. No ground speed on the GPS? That sucks. I want to see what sort of winds we are dealing with. But yeah, also, for the new ones in here, if you don't ask questions, I pretty much just fly silently because this is a job I have given myself over the summer. I work in the film industry. Last season, I did season 3 of Will Trent, which is like an ABC drama. And when the season was over, I didn't have anything to do. No other shows were filming. Wasn't hired on anything. So, I decided to give myself this wild, stupid project of flying around the world. Oh, yeah, there's always something that keeps everybody busy. But don't get me wrong, people have the option to be busy, and they have the option to be productive, and they have the option to not be busy. But a lot of people don't take advantage of that. I do have a good bit of time off with my current career choice being what it is. But I tend to keep myself pretty busy in my free time. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of relaxing that happens too. There's a lot of get home from doing something, settle in, watch some YouTube. I'm not a TV guy, I'm a YouTube guy. Settle in, watch some YouTube, learn a few things. I've got a couple of video projects I'm actually working on for this channel that I put on the back burner because I had a few busy weeks at work and just doing other life stuff and catching up. But, you know, that's all part of it. And speaking of YouTube stuff, I think I'm at 97 or 95 subscribers or something right now, which means like 30 or so left. And the channel will be able to be monetized, which is very cool. The garage and shop videos seem like they pull in like a little consistent run of money, or like they would, because they're always getting a consistent run of views. And having that initiative of, hey, I'm getting paid, that'll be nice. Won't be much, obviously. My view count's very low, considering other stuff. Yeah, YouTube is your TV and flying. Yep, same here. It's the only times I watch traditional media is if there's something that seems like it's very relative to whatever my job is. So I typically do the guns and firearms or whatever on film sets, props here and there. But it either has to be a really, really cool story that stretches what my department typically does, or I'm not really interested. There's very few things that I'm interested in outside, unless it's like I don't want to say a thriller, but some sort of mentally challenging sort of show where it makes you think and look back and check out other things. But most of what I consume is just YouTube, because I get to find people that make exactly what I want to see. If I want to watch car stuff, there's plenty of automotive creators. Want to watch motorcycles, there's plenty of motorcycle creators. If I want to watch gaming, I found guys who I enjoy doing. If I want to watch learning stuff, there's a lot of good channels for that. And typically, I can come home and have an entirely full schedule of TV, or close to it. And if it's not full, then guess what? I'm probably doing something else on the side. Or it's something where it turns on and auto plays into some other stuff similar to it. And then if it fits my criteria for what I enjoy, then I can continue watching. Or subscribe to them or see what's suggested, whatever. Algorithms typically don't do good for me. Algorithms are very trained for majority populations, you know. oh my god, everybody loves these fast-paced videos, less than 6 minutes because of Instagram Reels ruining and TikTok ruining everybody's ability to think for themselves, and their attention span's ruined. And it's like, I would much rather watch a 45-minute video. But there has to be substance. I enjoy payoff on things. So like, let's look at automotive stuff. B is for Build is a very popular automotive YouTube channel. I don't care for it whatsoever. And it's not that they don't do neat stuff. And it's not that they don't do good work. Some other work I've seen is, I don't want to say shoddy, but it's cool. You're working on flood damaged vehicles or creating something unique. And it's like, okay, cool. It's not the best welding here. Not the best design here. I think the off-road Lamborghini was kind of ugly with all of its stuff. I am learning coding and developing aircraft. Oh, hell yeah. Are you, working with any sort of studios and stuff on wanting to develop the aircraft, or are you trying to do it all independently? But yeah, B is for Build. It's like, cool, like he does some neat stuff, but it's, hey, we spent all this money and we built this twin-turbo Chevrolet-powered LS V8 Lamborghini Huracan with giant long-travel suspension that we had custom designed, and we welded up and we did all this. And there was like a half video, if not less, of the payoff of it. So what am I supposed to assume? That your shit doesn't work? I'm sorry, you know? Matt Armstrong, as far as rebuilding stuff, it's decent. I enjoy him. He goes more into the tech side of it. And like, cool, we need to do this. But usually goes back all stock and all original, which is neat. Independent Rob Tech. Gotcha. Cool. Well, you see me when I stream, so let me know when things start getting close. Or if you want to share things, feel free to mention if you have a Discord where you're posting progress on stuff. I'd be more than happy to share and fly and test and see what you put out there. But yeah, there's just a lot of creators of a lot of different shapes and sizes and creating styles, and at the end of the day, everybody has their own style of stuff that they like to watch. If it was all the same, it'd be super, super boring. And you know, I would like to think I'm different than most people. Probably not. There's probably thousands of other people that are just like me. As far as interest-wise, or as far as enjoys the same thing, views the world from the same type of position, the same colored glasses on, you know, like I'm sure there's a lot of people that fit in that same area as I do, with little variations. It's actually one thing I've been curious about for a while, is if I were to pull up what my most common people that I watch on YouTube and see if there's anybody else that has that same viewing pattern as I do, or the same following and liking pattern as what I do on Instagram, whether it's the same people or just the same style, little variations. I'm curious to see what it is. When we were filming Civil War, the movie that came out 2 years ago, same dude who was the director of Ex Machina directed it, forget his name. Horrible with names of famous people, despite working with them consistently. A couple of the other armorers, one of them, his name is Dan. Older than me, he's probably in his 50s. Super cool guy. Another guy named Chris, again, super cool guy, younger, I think a little bit older than me, not much though. But we were talking about something, and of course everybody goes through phases of stuff they watch. But we were talking about shit on YouTube, and it was like, we figured out that we all watched Hoof GP, which is like the British cattle doctor that goes around to farms and like cuts the abscesses out of Hoofs of Cattle. And we were like, oh, Hoof GP, you watch that too? And then like Chris introduced me to a channel. I watched a handful. I still subscribe to it. I don't watch all of them though, because I'm picky about what I want to watch. But it's a guy who does custom Hot Wheels, not restorations, but like resto mods or modifications. So he'll find a Hot Wheels car and he'll produce Alex Garland. That's the one. And he'll produce like custom parts and stuff. So he'll make roll cages and engines and turbos and wheels and body kits and stuff for Hot Wheels and put it all together and have the 1/64 scale custom cars that he does. Dan watches Australian Armory or something like that. Either way, it's a tank and armory museum in Australia, and they do restorations on these tanks. And some of these tanks that they get, I mean, are incomplete, giant, rusty piles of shit, to say the least. And it's wild watching some of this, because I watch a lot of machining videos. I watch a lot of people fixing, restoring. In Australia, I think we actually flew by their shop when we were back on episode 30 or something, going through Australia. It's cutting edge engineering. So we would, or I watched him do some really, really cool work. And it's not like he's doing anything crazy. It's just like, hey, this mining company somewhere had something go wrong with one of their machines. They take the part off because they couldn't fix it there, and it may be like a hydraulic cylinder that would cost $25,000 to replace. But for Curtis, it's a day of labor and some scrap metal, or not scrap, but like purchased stock of metal. It has to be the correct metal and hardness and everything. And he'll fabricate or disassemble and lathe away and re-weld and make these new parts to go in there that are back to factory spec. And it's super fucking cool. But to watch the people do the stuff like that for tanks, where it's obviously, I don't think they're really restoring the firearm part of the tank, but going through the drivetrains, and a lot of these things don't have drawings, or they do have drawings, they are literally drawings. They're not prints, they're not manuals. These are things from in between the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, like every single decade and year, where stuff was custom made for these on the assembly line, and nothing was really like planned out. It was like, okay, cool, like we can get tracks and engine and this, and it goes together this way, but everything else you kind of put there. So they're having to figure all of this out on their own, and it's really, really cool to check out. And Dan introduced me to that. I don't watch all their videos, but at the same time, I do see when something neat comes out, I'll watch it from their channel. Leska says, I make custom Hot Wheels versions of my friend's cars. Oh, sick, that's neat. I remember... what car was I in? Actually, I want to say I was driving my dad's old 4Runner. I don't know, 9-10 years ago. Something like that. And something happened. I think it started overheating or whatever. We got home and put antifreeze in there, and I think just like a new thermostat. It was fine. But the tow truck driver, on his dashboard, he had like a model Dodge Charger, new body style, or at the time new, not obviously not like a 2020 or newer. This was like in 2015, 14. But he would repaint them to be like the Georgia State Patrol or different counties or whatever that he would tow in. And then he would print off replica stickers or decals or whatever the that You'd print out whatever replica details or stickers or, wow, I was speaking like a 3. Pointing off replica decals and stickers of the police cars that he would see. But yeah, he would make the models and he would sell them to the police officers because he'd be going to all the, oop, we had a drunk driver, we need you to come impound the car. Oop, there's an accident, come get the car, whatever. So he's seeing all the officers all the time and they would see his little models and they would buy one from him every once in a while. Also, there's a hill out there. It's not all flat. Can't see anything up here. I don't think I have weather. Do I have weather turned on? Yeah, I have radar turned on. So I don't see any rain yet. But we'll see. Water slide decals. Water slide? Is that a type of decal that sticks to model cars? Sort of little decent there. Bring the power back in. Do we have power? I don't think we have power. Yeah, we lost something. Oh shit, the generator never went on. So we're doing an emergency landing here. How did that get flipped? Did I never hit it? Okay. Generator off. Let's turn this down. Strange. But hey, problem solved it. That's what it's about. Guys, did I forget to turn the generator on? Was that on me? I legitimately think I forgot to turn the gens on. Fuck. What thing are we near here? Let's see. There would have been a generator light too, but I had forgotten to turn the generator on. Go ahead and print your own. Works like a crackerjack tattoo. Interesting. Okay. So, fuel valve on. Battery on. Do I just have no battery power? Is that it? Oh no, now I can't click this? Some bitch. Okay. Let's see, Shift C. Yeah, I think I actually just forgot to do the generator, but the generator, there would have been a light. There is no light. Why do I get all the way up here? Fuel. Battery. Gen off. That on. Cool. Well, safe landing. We will talk to maintenance real quick. We were near. Let's see, says departure. Set as arrival. Set as that. We were near this thing here. So we're going to start back at the helipad here. Set as departure. So we had maintenance come and pick us up. No. What are you doing? Why don't you start off? Why do you have to be so weird? Gen on. Strobe on. Yeah, generator's on. Look here. Okay, now let's check this real quick. There's no generator light. Amperage 0. Amperage doesn't change. Let's see. Engine out, RPM overspeed, hydraulic. Generator failed. Yeah, there should be a generator thing there. The generator's not charging. That's a fault of the helicopter. I will post that in the forums for the dev list. Also, I think that's our first, like, failure of anything. Which, I'll take partial blame for it. There was no crash. We landed safely with a nice little auto rotation. Yeah, this better not be recurring, because I still don't see like a whole bunch of amperages being used and produced. Okay, I'm getting wiggly real quick just because I'm resettling myself in. I can set it to throw random failures for funsies. Can I do it through here? Seats, what? What? Environment. Nope. I know there was a way in 2020 to do it. I don't know if there's a way to do it in this one. Here in 2024. But yeah, depending on the model of the aircraft, which most people try to make their stuff pretty realistic, you can actually get over torques, over speeds, damages, and different things that are wrong and cause, doing little quotes with my fingers, but a damage to the aircraft. Of course, some models more than others. Not that they're tougher helicopters, but some of the programmers and aftermarket add-on helicopter people, because there's a handful of helicopters here in 2024. This was one of the ones that came factory in it, but there are some that I've paid money for, and they are quite detailed. This particular helicopter here, even though it is a factory one, was broken for about the first 4 months of the game being out. So that was annoying, because I really do like the Bell 407. What is this place? Got quite a looking little town square thing here, don't they? Palace of some sort, look at that. Or a monument or something. Neat. But also, it's one of the things where if I was doing airliner stuff, Boeing, Airbus, some sort of big thing where I'm getting it up, I'm setting the autopilot, I'm really doing more navigation work than piloting work. Then at that point, I think the failures are more handy of a tool. As you can see from mine that I just had back there, it was like I just land. I put down and I land. Airplanes, you'll have much more warnings. There's a lot more warning systems that are told about that. Or there are a lot more intense warning systems. voltmeter doesn't even change here. But there are some that are very, very detailed, and you can go through all the full checklist. They have all the systems of an Airbus A320neo modeled, and if you want to worry about a failure of a particular joint of a hydraulic system piece in the landing gear system of an A320, then by golly, you can work through that failure checklist and go down and land and do all your things and figure it out, and you can land the plane. Or if it's something electrical, you can resolve the electrical issue, whether it be circuit breakers or fuses, or doing a reset through whatever FADEC control system you have. Sorry guys, I'm giving you all a bit of a ride there. I'm popping my neck and back and stuff. But yeah, you can do all that. It's easy peasy, da-da-da-da-da, it happens. With failures here with helicopters, it's just like what happened back there. It's like, oh crap, we're not getting anything. We don't have any sort of engine RPM going on here. We enter an auto rotation and we put it on the ground. And part of that one for me, which I had more ground run out than I wanted, it was just because I don't have my sound up very high, because I don't want you guys to hear it in the microphone. I don't want it to be me talking, but then also have the background hum of the entire time on top of you hearing it from the computer itself, or from whatever the audio pumping through this is. So I've got the sound super, super low. If I had the sound up more, or if I had some sort of earphone setup that worked with the VR, then it's very possible for me to have heard the engine stop that whistling sound that it's making, when I would have noticed it quicker. These helicopters also have a lot of inertia in the rotor system, and weirdly enough, when that happened back there, I also happened to be descending, so already mildly in an auto-rotative descent. So I didn't notice it as quickly, but the system has a lot of inertia, and I was still able to cushion getting to the ground. But if we were to do some sort of auto-rotation or something now, I can more or less put it down on a point. The higher inertia rotor systems like this are really, really nice for that. Stuff like the Robinson R22 I'm training in, if you lose rotor RPM, you have about 1 to 2 seconds, if that, to get your collective, which is this center stick right here, all the way down. Or else you're going to decay your rotor RPM to an uncoverable percentage, and you're going to hit the ground very hard. I mean, if I was doing airliner stuff, I'd probably be asking for some failures here and there, but I mean, usually on this, if it's something like right here, I can just take my throttle and go. And here, I roll the throttle down to idle. Which means I'm no longer producing power to the engine. I'm going to aim for this little field right here, over next to this building. I'm going to hit in that darker one. That's about right here. I'm maintaining about 70 knots forward airspeed. I was climbing my rotor RPM a little bit. It was unnecessary. Get down to tree height, we're still good on the go. So here I'm going to add a little bit of a flare, a little bit bigger of a flare. like I said, you can more or less put it down in a yard if you wanted to. I'm going to roll throttle back up. Get our RPM back and be on the way. So yeah, like you can, it's easy to like do your failure training with a helicopter, because 99% of the time when there's a failure of some sort, you land the helicopter. Because that's kind of the plus side to it being a helicopter. A failure in an airplane, if I'm in a little Cessna 172 or something and I have a failure and the engine's still running, typically, like, yeah, you're looking for a place to land. You're looking for a road or a runway or a field or something where you can get in and do your thing. But also, you're 5,000 feet up, 6,000, 7,000 feet up, depending on where you're at, what you're doing. And you have time to work checklists. You have time to do all of that, to figure out what you need to do. You can get the book. You can get your handbook and say, cool, I have this light. What's the procedure? If you don't have it memorized, you can work through it. You can go through all the little stages of saying, okay, cool, this happened, this happened, this happened. You can problem solve it away to your heart's content. In a helicopter, you just fucking land. It's okay, you can raise the volume. It's barely discernible at all. Would be cool to be able to hear the heli sounds more too. Well, for that would be me adjusting it for you guys. It'd be weird feedback. If I were to turn it up for me. But also part of this is, of course, it's a Matt flies a helicopter around the world video. Slowly but surely. But more importantly, it's a Matt has a captive audience who has no choice but to listen to him talk for hours on end, as long as he's prompted? As long as he's been given a prompt to do so. But yeah, and sometimes, I mean, this is your first time in here, but there's been bits of legs of trips or whatever where I'm doing it later at night on a school night where everybody's got to wake up and go to school or work in the morning. And like today's Wednesday night. If today was a Friday night or a Saturday night and I was streaming this early at 8:58 or 8 o'clock like when I started, I'd have a whole 10 people in here watching. I think we've had 17 concurrent viewers before. Also, this is a super quiet helicopter in the game. That its sounds aren't very loud. But something. But yeah, today's slow night, so like there's times where I just sit here and just fly. If you weren't in here, Robert's just pretty more of a chill, laid-back guy when he gets in here, and a lot of people will just kind of scroll through and check it out every once in a while. Oh, what's happening here? Is he flying? Cool, look, I like to fly. They may say, hey, they may not. There's been times when I've just sat here and flown quietly for 30 or 45 minutes. Because part of the reason of this whole series was, it gives me something to do during my worst spending hours online, which is nighttime. Also, it's good for the hours, view hours on my channel. It like quadrupled my view hours when I started doing streaming. Just because I can have, instead of have 1,000 people watch a video for 2 minutes then click off of it, I can have people retained on the video. Berlin, hello. And also hello to Sean, because I assume he's not too far away. But yeah, having multiple people watch this for an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever. There's sometimes Georgia Plane Spotting or Tom will be in here and they'll watch an entire 4-hour stream. And shit, 8 hours of viewing is really nice to be able to get from 2 or 3 people doing it versus having however many. But there's also the non-talking people that watch, the people that don't comment. Because the nights when we have 10 to 15 people watching, like there's only like 2 or 3 of y'all chatting. So that means there's 10 other people that are just sitting there, just letting whatever happens happen. And that's good views. If I do a 2-hour stream and there's 15 people watching, that's 30 view hours that I got for just sitting down for a bit and doing something I was going to do anyways. We're getting into some sort of airspace here, but I'm not sure what. Sean is immobilized with a cat on him. The stream so soon. It used to be every night. But then adulting happened. 140 knots. What are we going so fast for? It's not like I have a 400-mile trip right here planned. We're going to judge when we get up here to Soltero. 128 miles. Because although I would love the chance to get out of Thailand and get over to Myanmar, I also don't want to be doing this for 5 hours tonight. Ooh, also, Friday, if I'm not working, I will be going down to Moultrie, Georgia. There's a big swap meet down there, one of the bigger swap meets in the southeast. It's like a 4 or 5 day thing. People from many states come around, set up things. Literally takes all day to walk through. So, looking forward to that. But Sean, you missed it. We had an emergency landing, actually. Which I don't know if I forgot to turn on the generator or not. But we just lost power. And apparently this helicopter's generator fail switch does not work. Generator fail light, I'm sorry. As you can see here, I can turn off the generator. Still showing amps, still showing volts, and we don't have a generator fail light, which is typically right there. Right here. And I was flying, could have swore I turned it on. Apparently I don't think I did. But helicopter lost power. We had to auto, so I called a mobile mechanic and we just took off from the nearest helipad. But the battery was dead and I couldn't restart it. So, the first real emergency that we've had. We've had a danger fuel one time, which I don't know if you were here for that one. It was after we crossed over Mount Rainier? Was it Rainier? We had to find like a little neighborhood air park and we stole some fuel from them. I think that's what it was. Also, I'm pretty sure Sean is stronger than the cat that is on him. In real life, no, in here. But I did fly this past weekend on Saturday. That was nice. Went to south from the airport, straight down to Barnesville. Went over the motorcycle track there. Flew over to my house, circled around that, flew up to Lake Spivey because they've drained it some. Flew down to my friend's house, circled over his place, went back to the airport. 1.4 hour flight. $500 fucking gone. But hey, flying a helicopter, so it's super cool. But yeah, like, even though emergency in real life would be, I don't want to say it'd be cool because I don't want to jinx myself into it. Oh, no. I was, I mean, obviously I asked your Paxway because, like, I want to take you up. And if we're playing 190, 200, it puts us at a lower fuel setting, where we can only take, I think, like 16 gallons. Cat law dictate human does not move until cat does. What if I don't abide by cat law? Let's see. Weight and balance have me there. 200. Yeah, 13 gallons is what's takeable with doors on. If we take the doors off, which, depending on what the temperature and stuff is outside, we can do 15 gallons of fuel. But yeah, it's just kind of like the downside of me and you both being men who are taller than average, I guess. I'm not going to say you make me feel short, but you're taller than me, which I guess does make me feel short, but I know I'm 6'2", so either way, both of us weigh more than what normal small human riding in a 22 would be. Hey, finally when we playing with the mountains up here, that's cool. Do not challenge the cat gods. Look, cat doctrine does not matter to me. I do not have a kitty cat. I have had 2 kitty cats, and it wasn't until after the cats were gone that I realized 95% of my sneezing had suddenly stopped. Which wild revelation that it took me that long to figure out it was the cats that was making me sneeze. Steven would really lower your fuel weight. First person I've known to validate the existence of yeah, I don't think he could ride. I think he would put the weight and balance too far forward. Brady, my homie, he's only 220. He's my height, 220, but a lot of muscle. I can't give him a ride in the 22. He fucks up the weight and balance. Because the weight and balance chart for the side, his line's over here on the outside. So it's literally like 205, 210 is my limit of what I can take, and that's pushing it even if we stay under max gross weight, just because of too far forward of a weight shift. Which means, like, cool, if something happens and I need to do an auto rotation, I might not be able to put it on the ground safely because I can't get enough back cyclic to arrest the descent. Or there's just normal hovering at a certain weight of fuel or whatever. I may not be able to stop from moving forward. So there's downsides to it. Plus side, 22's cheap. Super fun to fly. Take the doors off. It literally, a stick in your hand and a machine, and it's a blast. Downside, it's very low on power. But that's part of it, so I can't be too picky. I've honestly looked into 22s. I cannot afford one, but I can make numbers work to where one would be affordable in the way that leasing and renting and whatever can make it pay for itself. I can do the same thing with a 44. It's very rare that if you have a helicopter, that it's not making you money somehow, unless you just have the money to pay outright. But that being said, 44, I could also make it work number-wise, where if it was taking a loan or whatever, and have people do rentals and leasing and stuff, whatever, no big deal. It's just a matter of saying, like, cool, I'm making a purchase of a $450,000 asset with the assumption that at least like $2,000 a month is going to go into potential maintenance. Or like potential oopsies as far as maintenance goes. Like, okay, cool, there's a failure of the tail rotor gearbox like there was on the 22, where the light kept coming on, so we had to replace it. It was like $1,700 or something like that. Oil leak, need to take care of that. This isn't doing right, I gotta take care of that. You know, little things that have to be fixed here and there. There's obviously money. There's measurable depreciation, obviously, which is how you can price 44s and really any Robinson. Really any product you can do at the Robinsons are just easier because all of their maintenance comes due at the same time. But for the 44, one that's timed out, needs a full overhaul, you still have to pay $150,000 for, or anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000 for it, depending on how well it's equipped, how old it is, how rough a condition it is. Even though it gets rebuilt, there are some things that don't have to be touched, but if it needs to be touched, then obviously it's going to cost extra. But if you have one with like a mildly glass cockpit or whatever, and I mean, you've got a $160,000 helicopter you can't fly, and getting it revamped is going to cost you $300,000, so you're $500,000 in, give or take. And 2,200 hours later, it's going to happen again. So you can take that $150,000, subtract it from $500,000, and you have $350,000. You divide that by 2,200, which I'll use my calculator. 350,000 divided by 2,200 is $160 an hour. And you say, wow, that's not bad. You're not paying that, that's what it's costing you to fly. But then you have insurance, which is going to cost you another $200 an hour. Or really, that was a super low price. Usually a revamped or fresh R44 is like $600,000 to $700,000. So you're really looking at like $300 an hour. Then insurance, money for fuel, because it's going to burn like 15 gallons an hour, something like that. So you're looking at $6 per gallon times 15. You know, you're paying another $70 per hour per gas. No, it's not fucking cheap. But you want a helicopter. You don't just own a helicopter. The helicopter owns you. Now, if you can get into a lease of some sort with a school as a loaner, if they have one that's down or broken or whatever, you know, you can make it pay for itself. It's like, okay, cool, like my payment on it with the bank is $5,000 a month. You can rent it from me for $5,000 a month, and I'll take care of the insurance and all that stuff. You know, whatever. I get to use it whenever I want to. Or you pay for the maintenance or something. And I have the risk because it's my asset. Just like the school that I used, they had 2 R44s at the location I was at, and they were letting somebody in North Carolina, I think, use their the other one. And I'm sure it was a deal like, hey dude, for $4,000 a month, you can have this and put hours on it. Or something where it's like, okay, cool, like you pay us $400 an hour, so 10 hours and that'd be $4,000 a month. But like minimum is you have to pay us at least $4,000 a month. Which that's really how all the leases work that I've understood from people to people or business to business or whatever the case is. It's like I know that my payment to the bank is going to be X amount of money. So I call all the schools around and say, hey, I've got a 44 fresh out of annual, fresh out of an overhaul, ready for you to rip it up. I need $4,000 a month minimum, or $400 an hour at yours. And if they charge, my school charged $660 an hour for the 44. So if I'm renting to them for $400, they're tacking on an extra $250 an hour for them. That's not a bad deal. But yeah, so there's ways to do it. And I've got my notebook with a whole bunch of things. So I've got a lot of that stuff written down. So it's also that I'm considering. And obviously, you can do it more than once. You can do it with planes. I know there's a lot of people who do that with airplanes, where it says, hey, airplane school, would you happen to need one of these? I have one of these, if you want to add it to your fleet. So that way you can offer something more than just a Cessna 172 to your students. And there are people who do that. They never see the airplane. They call schools, they find somebody who wants it, they go and they buy the airplane because they had it on escrow or something. Yeah, they send a ferry pilot to go move it from one place to the other, and yeah. Anyways, real quick, before we get into the mountains, I'm going to pause real quick. Gotta go run upstairs and do something for the puppy. When I say the puppy, I mean a grown-ass dog. So we're gonna set her down next to this road real quick. Your little rural huts have no idea. Okay, feel free to post your favorite conspiracy theories in the comments. Nothing that will get my channel banned. I will be back in a few minutes, and if anybody asks, I will be right back. Okay, and bitches. Helmets make overpressure worse from blast. Recently released. Whoa. That's a fresh one. So you resume. Gulp. Didn't die. Scoot forward. We'll be going back up to 325 direction. So we have Antarctica as an alien base. Agreed. The Royals killed Princess Diana, obviously. Bigfoot is real, but is he still around, or is it just something that did exist? Flat Earth, duh. Hard disagree. Helmet overpressure, if that's the new study, it's not really conspiracy theory, is it? Here, let's throw some more torques at it. Resumed course, we will climb to a manageable altitude just below the cloud base, and we'll work in that direction. What'd you say? Is that a lake? See, this is the sort of Thailand that I'm interested in here. All the hills and valleys and peaks and... Of course, farm Thailand. Cool, don't get me wrong. City Thailand, cool. There's a lot of car culture down in the city. But this here, this is my jam. Love these hills and mountains and such. Looks foggy up that way. Which we're going to have to add altitude regardless, because we're not going to make it over the mountain, what, 10 miles up there? Yeah, thanks for those of you who stuck around and those of you who are checking back in now. We are back from the break. So we got a decent ridge, a lot of little stuff feeding up into it, but a pretty solid north-south ridge. Cool. 135 knots. We'll do like a 200 foot per minute climb, nothing serious. I'm going to keep my priority as the airspeed. So we have a lot to go. Current time for me at 9:40 p.m. 21:40. That's going to tell me to go a certain direction. I know. Set course to 220. Oh shit. Actually, I said cloud base, so we're gonna go cloud base. Putting some altitude in here. 30 knots, 81 miles, we got like 45 minutes. We've been learning that Mongolia has changed very little since time. Like, what do you mean changed very little as far as like the people and the places? Because like when people say Mongolia, I don't think about technology. I'll be real. Like China, obviously, stolen a lot of technology. Not much developed on its own that I'm aware of. Which obviously there probably is some stuff they develop on their own, but probably a lot of it's back engineering and stuff as well. Russia has come up with a lot of stuff on its own. They obviously have a very stout space program. Nuclear development. China has nuclear stuff too, but I think that's a bit of a copycat Sherry sort of thing with Russia. I just don't think Mongolia doing stuff. Like the only thing I remember seeing from Mongolia is watching the Grand Tour drive through it, and it was just like unkempt wilderness. I don't think Mongolians, I don't even know the capital of Mongolia. I think Mongolian tribes, Mongolia throat singing. Nothing that my brain thinks about with any sort of new modern thing thinks Mongolia. So yeah, I could see that they probably haven't changed too much. They got conquered, they're just having a hard time getting over it. They missed their ex. I mean, he did go around and, like, kill every man and bang every woman, right? That's pretty hard for the gene pool there. We actually have clouds below mountaintops up here. Very cool. So there's a chance of some IFR flying, which is even funner because I have no idea what the altitude and elevation of these are. Oh, they did amazing on Physical Asia? Yeah, because they have to fucking survive. I assume that's just a bigger version of the Korean Physical 100. Just more spread out, right? I think you mentioned it the other day. Not whether you subscribe to it. Oh no, I've already judged you. You're now a flat earther. Sorry. I'm going to need like a 1,000-word essay explaining why you now denounce the theory of flat earth and why you're coming back to round Earth supremacy. Or else I'm just going to believe that you're a flat earther indefinitely. Yeah, I do kind of subscribe to that Antarctica as a base of some sort. There's not many things all the countries agree on, and Antarctica being a non-militarized zone is one of them that everybody seems to break equally, but not say anything about it. When you look at Antarctica, there's a lot of bases around the coastline, and close enough to the coastline. Other than the fact that it's just prohibitively expensive to get near, and extremely uneconomical or very inconvenient to get down there. There's not really much of a civilian presence down there, other than scientists and some equipment operators and stuff, which I've actually started following a dude recently who is an equipment operator in Antarctica. Drives bobcats and big case tractors with snow blowers, and pretty cool because they're moving stuff around. They have to move the little bases on skis. They'll drag those around. They'll clean off the runways down the blue ice because there's no paved runway down there. It's all just ice runways. But there's so many stories down there, other than the standard people going crazy sort of thing, which stir crazy. You go down there, you're with the same 10 people, 20 people for months on end, cooped up in small little things, eating the same things, nothing to do, nothing to see, very little Orange Jeep, what's going on? Good to see you, dude. Yeah, there's not a lot to do down there, so I could see people going stir crazy. I could see that being a thing. But is there more? Is there more to Antarctica than just people going stir crazy? Could be. A lot of the theories are there happens to be alien craft or alien bases that are frozen under the ice down there, and it's a game of monitoring, not recovering, but just keeping it concealed and keeping it in its dormant state to not come out. There are reports that that's not the case, that it is awake and it is aware and it just can't get out. But I've heard the dormant and non-dormant theories, probably an equal amount from each of them. What was one of the other ones? The royals killed Princess Diana, obviously. And to be fair, I don't know much about the Princess Diana thing. I know there was an accident in the tunnel and she died, and there's a whole bunch of weird, questionable stuff around it. And I've watched like snippets of videos and people talking about it recently. But it's so low on my personal totem pole of things that I need to do research into, that I have not done research into it. Popularity kills popularity at the end of the day. Even in the little stupid fucking union that I'm a part of, apparently one of the candidates that was up for the election recently was getting death threats for running against one of the old head candidates. So it's like, okay, you know, fine, we get it. No power, absolute power corrupts absolutely. And while the Royals don't have absolute power, let's go minor IFR right here. While the Royals don't have absolute power, they do have a lot of power. They have a lot of money, a lot of influence, and a lot to lose. So when somebody as figureheadable, if that's even a term, as Diana comes around, there's obviously going to be people that are not quite happy with what she does, how she does stuff, what her perception or what their perception of her future would look like. So yeah, I do not doubt one bit that she was killed by other royals. Modern Mongolia throat singing, I think it's all ancient practice. It's just maybe used in a modern way, like to modern music. Cool, just made it over that. Just touched the cloud a little bit, no big deal. Keeping a good 130 on the pace. We're at like 5,500 feet though, so not bad. We're up here a wee bit, as the kids would say. We're definitely getting close to some stuff. Mae Sot arrow. I assume we're still in Thailand with that, because I don't think we leave Thailand until like halfway between this and the next one. Which once we get up here, I'm going to do another direct to thing to see how far the Myanmar airport is that I'd like to go to. But we'll judge. I'd be mistaken. Is that so? Or is your taste in music, i.e. Mongolia throat singing, which is obviously the only thing that you do listen to, so out there that you think it's modern, but really it was recorded on broom straws on pottery and it's just being replayed to you on a modern record player? Think about it. Little valley coming up, but we'll have mountains on either side, so it should be nice. It's not going to be the first half of the stream so far. Actually, a VOR we're heading to up here, so that's cool. The FE theory pisses me off. FE. Oh, flat Earth. Okay. I had a thing for a second. Pisses you off so much that you have to say FE, or is it just because you're such a flat earther that you just call it FE because you think it's the cool thing to do? But really, there's like so many experiments that people can do that are so obvious. Like one of them is the laser over water, which it's wild that more people don't do this in their own time. Flat earthers are pretty good about agreeing that water will be flat, and it's just water stays that level all around. Tide changes here, there, whatever. But generally on a big enough lake / small enough lake, the water's flat. I saw this one thing where they took a guy out there like, hey, we're going to propose this experiment. You tell us if you think it's going to be viable or not. As far as something to prove your way or prove our way, we haven't tested it, but we're confident in what we're going to see. And they took a super high-powered laser and they shined it on like a level thing. Like they put it on a 5-foot thing. They made it completely level, and they shot it at like a boat that was like 6 miles out or something like that with a big vertical thing on it. And it was like 15 feet up on this vertical thing because curvature of the earth, obviously. And they were like, whoa, this is wild. I wonder why it's doing that. Because the earth's fucking round, bud. And also, it's like, cool, like, what would be the purpose of hiding flat earth? Like, there's a million things that explain round earth. Gravity pulls towards the center, so we have a round planet. You may say, wow, look at these mountains. Cool, well, guess what? If you shrunk our planet down to the size of a pool ball, the pool ball would actually be rougher than the planet Earth. Even with all our mountains and everything. Be like, what's the purpose of hiding it? Well, so that way they can funnel $2 billion a year to NASA. Well, we send $100 million a year to fucking Israel. So that's a moot argument. Like, cool, they wanted the money, they would just fucking take it. They don't need to hide it in the form of NASA. Now, moon landing stuff, I am questionable about. I would like to believe that it happened. I'm very pro-America doing things. Did they do it with Apollo 11? Maybe not. I do like to think that we got there eventually, but I think that 11 may have been faked. Or one of the first 1 to 3 landings. After that, I think they probably did get it, but I think 1 to 3 was probably, questionable, because it was all a race at that point. Then it was like, okay, cool, well, somebody might check our work one day. It's because she wasn't about the things the royal family were into. If you know, you know. Not my time period, so hard for me to say if I knew, but like I said, there's so many videos on it out now, just like with 9/11 and a whole bunch of other stuff where it's like, cool, like there was news back then, but now there's information that we have now. So it might be something that I get further into. Like recently, it's been a lot of like 9/11 stuff. Oop, weather change. A lot of 9/11 stuff that I've been getting into recently, or people have been sharing back and forth. I'm seeing different of them. Sorry, Sean, you were Japanese ladybugs. Well, there's like Thailand ladybugs that are like really, really bad right now, apparently. I call them ladyboy bugs because it's Thailand. What do you mean you were ex? Were you fighting them? Or were you a ladybug at some point in your life and now you're no longer a ladybug? I'm trying to figure that out. "36 miles to our midpoint. And we'll see what our further point is mileage-wise. Because it'll be 10, 15 when we get there. Handling them with fly swatters and vacuums. Hell yeah. The way God intended. For a Hoover vacuum cleaner to slurp up one of them ladybugs. Now, they were all over my friend's house the other day. I was helping him do some roofing stuff. And his wife was just out there. These things are everywhere. Like, yeah, they are. What do you want us to do? but it's modern and it hits hard. You're being censored. Oh, when you said you were killing them? Ah, yeah. YouTube does that. I would turn off all the censors, honestly. It's up to me, like, cool, let it be free. You know, if I see something I don't like for my channel, gone. Obviously, anything to do with, like, trafficking or whatever. Because apparently that's a thing on, like, kid videos or something like that, if you remember some of that old controversy. Yeah, obviously gone. And if there's a way to track and censor that, would be, but it's a lot of code, so it's hard to. Yeah, like, for the most part, like, yeah, I'm a free speech person, you know? Pretty much no ifs, ands, or buts. Cool, you were inciting violence. Great, don't listen to them. Incite all the violence you want to. If you're a convincing enough person, maybe you have a point, and violence needs to be incited. So like 5 variations and it didn't go through. Well, you know you have a moderator right there, so literally watching you. He was probably banning you before you even sent it. Let's see. Yeah, there's a few things around here. We're off to the left. Straight ahead, way up there, 30 miles, 29 miles. You were assassinating them. Google seems to think they can. Wow, Google. Not like I trust your stupid AI anyways. It gets half the shit wrong that I ask on whenever I Google search something. Which is a terrifying thing. Holy shit. There are so many people who just blindly trust AI. Because they don't understand. They don't fucking get it. They think it's just some all-knowing, omnipresent, like, brain machine that can come up with any fucking answer you want to do. It's not AGI. It's not a general intelligence. Sure, it may be able to deduce some things out of context. But at the end of the day, AI is just an LLM, a large language model. They load a whole bunch of web pages and whatever training data they want into it. And then once they've fed it all of that information, they're like, hey, learn to converse. So they kind of feed it some conversational bits. They use information from past conversations with people that were talking to it. They coach it a little bit. They give it parameters to where it can't think for itself. And they let out this cucked LLM out to the world that people start praising as if it's some sort of know-it-all. Like one stupid thing that I asked, I was like, hey, looking at modern helicopters that are sold today, new or used, but have creature comforts, what is the helicopter with the smallest rotor diameter? And because I'm looking for like garage sizes and stuff like that, and it didn't mention the MD500 to me, because it gave me like the list of like the top 5 smallest or bottom 5 biggest. They gave me a top 5 smallest, whatever, of helicopters typically sold here in the U.S., new or used. And the MD was not on the list, and the MD is an extremely popular helicopter made here in America and sold brand new here in America. And it didn't mention it. And that's just something small and stupid. But it missed it, and it was like, oh, cool, I don't know why I missed it. That's crazy. And you can catch it on a lot of stuff. Of course, you ask it a question like, cool, what's 764,000 times the square root of 15x54y times 3256? And it gives you an answer. Because that's something that's easy for that. But logical reasoning is not something that's an easily taught thing. There's a lot of things that human input is very necessary for. I don't want to say it's required, but you can't set a lot of the stuff free because people are just going to assume it's right. They have the hallucinations, which is whenever they believe something and they speak it as truth, but they actually don't know and they refuse to admit. So there's a lot to that. Sean's talking about sewing machines. ChatGPT was leading me through. She bullies ChatGPT. Trying to debate flat earthers. Gravity is not a law, though. Common misconception is actually still just a theory. ChatGPT was leading me through completely flawed coding paths to fix one of our sewing machines, and it's driving me crazy. Sean's day job is sewing tactical lingerie. Well, he doesn't sew it. He manages the slaves that sew tactical lingerie. But yeah, long story short, large language models are not AGI. And it's scary to see the blanket acceptance by some people of the technology. When my father had a heart attack 2 years ago, I think it was 2 years ago, we got his 12 lead printout or EKG, whatever it is, 12 lead EKG from the hospital or the ambulance. I don't know if they printed and gave us a copy at the ambulance or if we got a copy of the hospital afterward with the paperwork. But anyways, we had all of that information there. And I didn't know what it meant. I wanted to know how to decode it. So I uploaded the picture of it to Grok or ChatGPT, one of them, and it was like, hey, you look here, you look here, you look here, these are these things. So this right here could lead to something. And this right here could lead to something. And same thing, there was a cancer thing as well. I uploaded the information that said, okay, cool, when you see this word, this means this. And it was able to break it down into something like that, but I still went back and I fact-checked everything. It was pretty easy because I was very specific in the way that I prompted it. And when I say I was specific, I was very specific. It was like an entire paragraph or more worth of prompting. Like, okay, cool, here is a medical document. I've redacted names off of it. We have already consulted a doctor. We have already decided on a treatment plan. But what we are looking for is more clarification on the definitions, what they see, what they were looking into, what sort of things would lead to their diagnosis, what sort of things would lead to their treatment plan, what other treatment plans looked like they would have been suggested, what are some things that would make one treatment plan better than another, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, I had asked a whole bunch, and it was very, very decent. Very long-winded. Didn't do it in a very conversational way, but I also prompted it in a very non-conversational way. And it can do good on stuff. But then it's like, my dad, he'll say something like, man, it'd really be nice to have a chat GPT that you could talk to or something like that. Where he could just be driving somewhere and think of a question, be like, hey Alexa, how far is something from something? How far is it from Earth to the moon? Where if he thinks of something, instead of having to search it and look up the answer. And it's like, yeah, it could do good for some stuff, but it can also be heavily influenced by everything, and the people who look for stuff like that are just looking for the answer and they're going to accept it. Which, at the end of the day, like, he does the same thing with the news. Most people that are over 50 watch the news and they take it as gospel. And I feel like on the same vein, they're going to ask any sort of AI model a question, and they're going to take the answer as gospel. Because they're going to assume that hallucinations don't exist. And that's a dangerous path to lead down. Because I've, in many cases, been able to prove whatever AI question I asked wrong, or incomplete, or misleading, just like Sean was saying with his. Try to get a good number. Well, have you just tried aligning them? Like putting one after the other? Mae Sot Airport, helicopter, November 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, call sign Fuckwagon is 5 miles to your southeast, inbound direct ramp for fuel. Mae Sot. And we're gonna really start dropping the altitude here. 1,500 feet per minute. Basically, in an auto, we will be watching our rotor RPM numbers, because at this sort of descent rate, you could induce some more rotational speed in. As you can see, this long straight thing in front of us, that is our aeropuerto. We're in Thailand, we're not in fucking Spain. What am I doing? That doesn't work according to the timing chart. I will lead you through exactly what I've figured out so far if you really want. Well, it's shit to talk about. I'm always here to learn. So, Mae Sot Airport helicopter 420 Foxtrot Whiskey, call sign Fuckwagon is 2.5 miles to your southeast, inbound direct to ramp, Mae Sot. I will not be making any more calls because I have clearance to land whether you like it or not. Oop, I just lost sound. Oh, did the game crash? Oh, no. Computer was spinning up for some reason. I don't know what was happening, but I heard the fans kick on, so there was something that was requiring some extra processing. Strange. Looks like the stream's still going, so that's like good. Okay, where the hell's the fuel station? Was this the one that was like midfield? Yeah. Getting really close now, so we'll slowly start bleeding off the speed. And by slowly, I mean kind of drastically. I'm not going to quite do a quick stop from 120 knots. It's kind of frowned upon, but it looks like I can kind of do a little bit of a J-hook in here and play with the wind and have a good wind for landing. It's coming directly off of our 3 o'clock right now. Got a 20-knot headwind, which is impressive. Of course, his sock's fucking moving over there, so. With that being the case, I don't want to take off with a hard tailwind coming from the right. Although that is the preferable side, we'll land nose into it. Okay, so let's see. How far? Ooh, it's a longer stretch. I don't know if I want to do that tonight. We are at a decent stopping point. 221 miles. Yeah, that's going to be like a 3-hour trip. Guys, I'm not looking to do a 3-hour trip. So we're going to end here at Mae Sot. I'll do some shenanigan stuff, and next time we'll head up here. But I don't want to be blocking the fuel pumps. So first I want to go over and see what the fuck this thing is. Oh, it's a Tekken? Okay, cool. Apparently I think those are 2-stroke. They're not super powerful, but I'm pretty sure they're 2-stroke. Okay, where do I need to land? Looks like parking's over here. Oh, that's terminal. We're going to take the VIP parking here next to the FBO. Turn back into the wind. Idle. Start flipping switches. Okay, so the computer has a number of settings that are coded from the needle on TRS and LRS to be. Quarter way through the needle. We're still live. You were watching a movie. Wow. You actually missed an emergency landing because either I forgot to turn on the generator or somehow it turned off. and we lost battery. Then we had to get a tow to the nearest helipad and have that addressed. But also this is the 407, which has never been quite friendly for the stream, so who knows whether it was me or it was something else. I've only flown this helicopter a few times just because it never worked right. Let's see, Shift C, which we're going to shenanigans some because I don't want to do another 3 hours. There we go. We didn't go to where we wanted to, but no, not a full restart. We had an emergency landing. Auto-rotated to a field. We were near a helipad. We called a mechanic. He came. They towed us to the nearest helipad. We restarted there. It was not a crash. So yeah, we're going to end here at Mae Sot. And then next time we're going to go over to Myanmar. Yeah, why would I do a restart if I didn't crash? I think a free 429 was added. Saw something. What? I know a 135 was added, but a 429? Did it auto load in? Because I think the 135 automatically put itself in. There's the S76. Cowan, Bell. Aft. Helicopter. There's somebody making a BL-105 and I'm excited about it because it's not this crappy MS scenery one. Well, the Black Friday deals do seem to be a thing. Why is there so many sceneries? Let me see. There we go. Don't care for a healer. Taugs is making a 341. I'm excited for that. Oh. 315. But they're making a Gazelle. That's what I'm excited for. Stupid. Stupid. 530 F would be cool, but I'm 4.4, but man, like I've got 2 MDs. Really no need to buy that. The Cowan's livery pack. Such an ugly thing, look at that. These are all ones that I own down here. And there's freeware. Whatever got stuck in planes or other. I just search 429. So it's a 429 or 427? 429. Yeah, I don't see it. Unless it was like downloading from a third party. So what I want to do... Bahrain. Okay, third-party site. Okay, I'm interested. I'll look up some reviews on it and see what it looks like. If it looks like it's decently modeled and stuff, then I'll grab it. But if it's not well modeled, then I'm not super interested in it. I'd rather have something that has pretty realistic handling, like these other ones. Get rid of view. Let's see, Shift C. Stop walking through me. Let's see, go forward. Based on a YouTube thumbnail you saw, it seems nice. Oh no, I think I gotta click the actual starter button down here. Sean says, anyways, my needle up is stuck at 0. My needle down is down at 45. Any gap larger than 45 between W1 and W2. Over voltages, the wiper solenoid. We will be problem solving that as you sleep, Sean. Do not worry. Generator on, avionics on, nav lights. Don't care. Cool, bada bing, bada boom, and hydraulics turned on. But Sean Belen, thank you for being here as always. Y'all two sleep good. Do some snuggles, make some macaroni noises. Okay, now there is a reason we are in Bahrain. Bahrain. Technically, there's no Baha. But let's go. I think he's gone now. But I'm homies with Sean. I can always ask him, and I can have y'all relay the information. So if you have any specific questions, feel free to text me or ask here, and I'll ask him. Or you can see him on one of the next streams. Who knows? The world is our oyster. So we're pulling 95% torque. We're adding some altitude. I want to get to about 800 feet or so. Bring our speed back up to 75, 80 knots. Bringing back the power some now. Leveling off. Throttle off. Governor off. We're coming down. We're no longer creating torque. You can see our engine torque on the bottom right gauge there on the front at 0, which means our engine's no longer doing anything. We're in a auto rotation 180 degrees. Lowering the collective sum, we're going to gain some RPM when we come out of this turn, so I got to be aware of that. Going down, we're maintaining our 65, that's good. A little hard, but we walk away. Mideast, Bahrain, which is a little island. Helibatics. I mean, we're in a 66. There's not a lot of helibatics that exist in a 66. Although I do wish, to an extent, that mass bumping was modeled. I think that would be kind of cool. Kind of straight this way is the way we're going. I think it'd be neat to be able to model that and see if we can create some of those failures. But really what that would be, let me get a little bit of speed and stuff added to us. With an underslung rotor system as such, being the R66 that we're in, if we were to unload our rotor system, as in not just lowering the collective and dropping, because we're still being held completely under the weight, but if I were to be doing something like pulling up here and kind of like trying to lightweight level off like this, that would be a no. And there'd be a chance that we'd be dead right there. So, small island near Qatar. Wait, is Helibatic a small island, or are you saying that we're on a small island? Because we are on a small island, but very cool island, because look at this racetrack complex. Holy shit. Wow. And that's a drag strip too there. That's like a concert venue or something there. That's like a palace or something. Very cool. Bahrain's on one of my list. But like in a good way. Yeah, that racetrack's literally the only reason I wanted to come here. Check this out. See how well it was modeled. Oh, the airport's right next to it. One of the airports. It'd be super neat if mass bumping was modeled so I could... But you got low RPM warning there just because I put like massive pitch in the blades to try to make a very strong movement. But yeah. What's this YouTube notification? Nope. Cletus talking about picking up his ZR1. Hell yeah. It's a wild car. I'm excited to see that episode. As soon as we're done shenanigans, I want to watch that. Well, you can go away. I can see where I'm going because there's an airport right here. There's also probably a there's probably a scenery pack that I could download for this to make this look cooler, because I feel like I'm going to be underwhelmed when I get up here. Shut up. I'm not asking that much from you. I guess I am. That was 100% torque. I would have ruined a helicopter right there. But it's not mine. Which means it's okay. Well, I do kind of have a sentimental tail number on it at the moment. November 7534 Lima, the number for the 22 that I passed my check ride in. And did the vast majority of my training. I think I only did like 2 or 3 flights. And 7192 Sierra, so... Also, how are you doing? How's your throat? Has your strep gotten better? Any better? You feeling better? yeah, that race complex is actually pretty significant in size over there to the left. So it kind of sucks that it's not built up more than it is. Yeah, we are not 34 Lima haters in this household. We are 34 Lima enjoyers. The Bahrain racetrack. Like, honestly, this is a beautiful track. It's so well done. Of course, it's done by a very rich, oil chic, country ruler type of fella. I don't know his exact interests or what, but the guy has a lot of money, and I don't know if he built the track or the country built the track, but it is very, very, very top quality. A lot of records are broken here at this drag strip as well. Like, in fact, there's a video I saw of his street Toyota Supra. So one that he drives, has air conditioning and all that stuff. But it has a sequential transmission, so you just pull back on the shifter instead of actually H pattern. But anyways, he kind of went easy off the line, so and then really got into it. When he grabbed third gear, it picked up the front wheels halfway down the track. Absolutely wild. Also, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but if you're doing crop dusting, a lot of times, or just as we'll do a little helicopter lesson here for people. It's been a while since we've done Helicopter 101 with Matt. Disclaimer, I'm not a certified helicopter instructor, nor am I claiming to be. I'm just somebody who passed all the tests to fly helicopters, and I'm licensed to fly helicopters, and I understand how they work. A lot more now than I did before. Appealing to the eyes. Small cough, but alright now. That's good to hear, dude. Yeah, if you look at like pictures and stuff, like the lights and everything here, absolutely beautiful place. Anyways, there's three main controls for your helicopters. You have your anti-torque pedals, which, I don't know if you can see, but it changes the angle of our tail rotor blade, which you can even see. I'll use my laser pointer. You can see our pitch link right here moving, and that's what pushes the tail one way or the other. One way or the other. We have the cyclic here, which is our middle control. This individually changes where blades pitch up and down at. So, you really can't see, but it just affects one side of this. The collective, which is this one here in the middle. Whoop, whoop. Kind of hard to see, but it's this one here, this stick. Collectively changes all of your main rotor blades. So if you want to go up, you need to collectively make all of your rotors pitch more. Right now they're kind of flat. I add some pitch, pull some pitch, add some power, whatever you want to call it, by lifting on the collective with my left hand. That adds pitch and lift to the helicopter, and we pick up off the ground. But if you noticed, we went to the left. Why is that? When the rotor is spinning, well, actually I had a lot of left pedal. Let me even out my pedals here. So right now my pedals are dead flat, dead even. When we pick up, the rotor blades are spinning to the left, which means the helicopter wants to spin the other way, fighting the anti-torque. So as I pick up on the helicopter, you saw that it went right. Now there's stuff that will kind of keep the helicopter in line, but if I add a lot of power, you can see we spin to the right. That's me not hitting the pedals whatsoever. But I had to correct it so we don't die. So under takeoffs and any sort of maneuver where you're pulling any sort of power, adding any sort of pitch, you want to add left pedal. Unless you're in a European helicopter or something that spins the opposite direction, then you add right pedal when you're taking off. Also known as the power pedal. Left pedal, power pedal, right pedal, power pedal. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Depends on the rotor system which way it spins. And when you add the extra left pedal, which is going to make your helicopter spin this way, the thrusting of the tail rotor is going to push your entire helicopter to the right. So when you do get to do some left cyclic here to counter that. So everything together is you pick up slowly. I saw I was rotating left there, so I cancel that out. And I was pushing right a little bit from that. So I'm adding some left cyclic in to hold us in place. And that's how you hover. It's a little feedback loop of everything. My feet are kind of locked in right now. My left hand's kind of leveling us off, and my right hand's making any micro adjustments to hold us in place. But if it's windy or whatever, then it's kind of a constant battle of doing all three at the same time. It's very not intuitive. People rarely pick it up immediately. It took me 10 to 15 hours of simulator work to get to that point. So, all of that to explain a cool thing about crop dusting. We'll pretend our little drag strip here is a crop dusting path. So we're going to get to a good 50 knots or so, a standard crop dusting speed. And let's say we want to turn around and go down the strip on this little colored patterned line thing, or actually the other lane over there, whatever. You would assume that we want to kind of pull back, and then I'll add a whole bunch of right pedal, then come over here and line up, get ourselves back straight, and come back down. And you're not wrong, you can. But if you remember to what we were doing earlier, when I apply extra pitch, it makes the helicopter want to twist to the right. So as you can see right now, my pedals are kind of to the left right there. If I pull up this way, I'm going to leave my pedals in the right spot. But if I just add collective, I can adjust the angle of the helicopter just by adding more collective, and the helicopter counter torques its way to where I want it to be. Of course, you have to be mindful of how much torque you're using. I wasn't watching any torque gauges or anything like that during that maneuver, just because I'm explaining and talking and looking at a lot of different things. I'm also no expert, but you technically don't have to use your pedals if you don't want to. Low rotor RPM, low rotor. Shut up. So there's a cool thing. And of course, there's speeds that it works better at, wind conditions and stuff, and of course, you'll still use pedal. Like, you can do it very smoothly by just doing the collective, but you can add some pedal to make it more precise, to be on your rows a little bit better. And then, you know, why not? Why not be the best pilot you can be? And besides, right pedal will actually use less energy than using no pedal. Most helicopters don't have negative pitch in their rear blades, in the tail rotor blades. It's either flat or left, just like the top's either flat or pitched. So by using right pedal, you're actually flattening it out more, where its neutral position is actually producing some bit of thrust. So you can add more collective when you're using right pedal. Which actually, we'll see if we can experiment some real quick with that. So right now, I've got pedals pretty much neutral. Just a little bit left to keep us going straight. If I add collective, we start really picking up on the torque. But if I do right pedal and add collective, we seem to be able to use a lot more power. Or we have a lot more power on type. But you kind of have to take my word for it. I was able to pull my hand up a lot further with the collective before it started giving me low rotor RPM. So... cool stuff. Helicopter crop dusting. Be fun to do and fun to see. Oh yeah, it's the way I see it, it's very similar to airplane crop dust. Obviously it's the same thing, but it's one of the few jobs where you actually get to fly low and fast and follow the pattern on the ground, and obviously you're still following some sort of path because you have to hits all your marks and everything. But it's one of the rare things where you actually get to do something that's significantly different, you know. It's not like you pick up, you get to 500 feet, you get to 1,000 feet, you get to 3,000 feet, and you just fly somewhere. It's one of the few things where you actually get to fly like a fighter pilot, you know. The lower you are, the better. Well, I wouldn't say that. I'm sure there's like optimal heights for dispersion and whatever else. But it's on my list of things to do. I don't know if I want to do it full time, but I think it'd be an interesting job to get into. You'd learn a lot with it because you're flying a very, very variable weighted. I think they adjusted the ground effects some because I'm getting a lot different feeling over this building here. Yeah, that feels different. Oh, with the building see-through. Okay, cool. Strange. But yeah, it's one of those few jobs where like a lot of different rule sets for flying for different job types, whether it's tours or teachers or utility or medical or something. You're only allowed a certain number of hours per day. But with agriculture, there is no limit. So if you can fly a 16-hour day, you can fly a 16-hour day. It's a good way to really, really bump up your hours. It's also very dangerous because you're flying in the wire environment a lot at speed. And when you start doing something repetitively over and over and over again, you start getting complacent. And most wire strikes that happen, I think it's something like 9 out of 10 wire strikes, the pilot knew the wire was there. Which is wild, because it's just like you get so fatigued, you get so used to it, you think you're a lot further away than what you should be. So, something to think about. The crop dusting is something I definitely would like to do. At least once, at least for a season. No reason for that. We're gonna come over to this arrow. Well, shut up. Nobody asked. Blow around this little cub. Give him a little bit of pitch. We'll land nose to nose with this bad boy right here. I can definitely feel the wind messing with me right now. Because I'm being very smooth in my inputs, but it's kind of weird gusting on me. Yeah, strong coming from the back, that would explain it. Cool. Whatever. Whatever. Yeah, they have multiple helipads marked. Little track over here. A lot of parking for probably every car on the island. But not that big of an island. Oh. Anything else to do? I'm feeling really tired. Had to wake up at 5:30-ish? 5:30 this morning. Yeah, I think I'm going to call it. Guys and gals, it's been fun. Hopefully we'll be doing this more. This was pretty soon after my previous one compared to my month break that I took before, so. But yeah, I'm going to get out of here at Georgia Plains Point. Thanks for stopping in. Hope you feel better soon. We'll get you up in the helicopter soon enough. As a way to say thank you for being here all the time. But anyways, guys,